Hey guys, this is Dr. Sandy with another informative video. Today we're going to be talking about the issue of stress. If you're watching for the first time, welcome. My name is Dr. Sandy. I'm a practicing chiropractor going to my 24th year of practice. My obsession is helping people have the best quality of life possible. We want them to feel the best, full of energy, just have that great quality of life. If you've been watching for some time, welcome back. Let's jump into it. So this is a serious topic we're going to talk about today, which is stress. I feel in North America, stress is probably at an all-time high. It goes across all age groups. On one hand, we're blessed because we have a lot of modern conveniences. Obviously, most people are eating, they have shelter, they're protected. But on the flip side, stress is there. Now, what is exactly stress? Stress to me is a situation where we're faced with something and we might feel like we are not sure how to respond to it. It can feel overwhelming. We may get upset. We may feel like withdrawing. We get into this whole fight or flight kind of thing, which you may have heard of before. So that's when your sympathetic part of the nerve system gets overstimulated. So again, you might feel like you're angry about something. You may feel like withdrawing from that subject, but we're not in that state of being balanced. We might feel really overwhelmed, and again, we can respond in different ways, but I'd say it's a feeling of almost like an overwhelm. You're not sure what to do, and the response may not be the best. Now, what's causing this? Like, I personally think that I love technology. Obviously, it helps us immensely, but just like anything in life, too much of something can also be a negative. So I think if you're all day on a computer, looking at your watch, looking at your phone, if you're spending most of your day in front of a screen, that might be too much. And that stimulation can cause stress actually. So, being on the computer, which you have to do obviously if that's your work, but when you go home, if you're gaming, surfing the net, you're just spending more and more time on the screen. I actually think this would be a source of stress. That's just like one component. What else is also happening? I think with more technology, more conveniences, we just fill up our day with so much stuff between work, grocery, taking care of the kids, soccer games, hockey practices, whatever it looks like, taking your kids to the tutor, for schooling and extracurricular stuff. Life is just really, really busy. It always just feels like you're stimulated. It's a go, go, go. And there is a time and place where we need that system to be stimulated. So if you look back at our human biology, the reason we have a sympathetic system was to protect ourselves. So if an animal, like if our ancestors back in the day, an animal was chasing them, they had to run away. So their nervous system would activate the body and tell them that you need to get the heck out of here. So the muscles would contract, the heart would go up in speed, the breathing rhythm would change, and then they're in a mode where they need to escape to protect that person. And after 5, 10, maybe 15, 20 minutes, they run up a tree, hide behind a boulder, whatever, animal leaves, they're safe again. So their system can calm down and go more into a parasympathetic or rest and digest state. What's happening now is we don't have animals chasing us, but we have commitments. We're just busy professionally, we're busy with our families, and we're just go, go, go. We're constantly stimulated. So it's almost like that animal's chasing us all day. And it's exhausting. And then we see breakdown in the body, and that breakdown might be pain, exhaustion. That can play with your blood pressure, that can play with your blood sugar, that can affect your digestive health, like you're not eating right, maybe acid reflux, things like that, constipation, gas, bloating. The body is just, it's just too much of that sympathetic response. So what we want to do is avoid the stimulation, get things at least we can under our control, so we're not always stimulating the nerve system. So examples of that I'm going to recommend would be number one, avoiding caffeine, because caffeine is a stimulant. Now, as I share these suggestions with you, I really hope they inspire you and you may follow it, or you might modify it, see what works for you. I find personally caffeine is just, it's a negative. So yeah, it may give you energy. I know for myself, when I've had too much caffeine in the past, it would really affect my heart rate. I get that racing heart, things like that, and it was not good for me. So I would encourage you to minimize caffeine. Now, if you're someone listening to this and you just have it 2-3 times a week, for you to stop caffeine probably won't be a big deal. And I think it's going to keep the body in a more restful, relaxed state. Um, if you're someone who's listening to this and you're like, well, I need some caffeine, Dr. Sandy, maybe instead of 3-4 cups a day, maybe just have one. And, you know, another option would maybe be going towards like a decaf product or something. Please be aware though, if your body's used to caffeine and you try to reduce, you could trigger headaches, withdrawal symptoms. So be aware of that. So see what works for your body, but less caffeine is going to give the chance for the body to relax. You're not stimulated all the time. And I don't know, I think it's a cultural thing. It's such a big part of our society that I need my morning coffee and I need my morning tea or chai and all this kind of stuff. And I think we need to step back and say, like, why do we have these beliefs? Like, if you look at kids when they're growing up, like, I hope a 10-year-old kid's not looking at their parents saying, hey, I really need a tea or coffee to start my day. They're full of energy and stuff. And I'm happy to say I've really cut down on caffeine over the years, and I made a decision in 2024 to stop all caffeine. So I don't have any. I did have it once by accident. I didn't even realize it, but I'm feeling good. I'm feeling calm, feeling very clear. I would highly recommend reducing caffeine. So please look into that. And then your substitute is, hot milk. You can have herbal teas, anything without caffeine. And when like ginger tea, lemon tea, some warm milk before you go to bed, something like that. There's a lot of alternatives. So please look at reducing your caffeine consumption. The next thing that I think is very stimulating and puts us in a stressful state is watching the news. Now, again, it's a spectrum. Some people might be like, oh, I just need to see a couple of headlines. Some people might watch 3-4 hours and they might listen to a podcast about the news or a certain event going to work. I think listening to the news before you go to bed can be a huge negative because you're seeing obviously stressful images and things like that. So again, myself, I make a real big effort to avoid watching the news. I mean, I'll see certain highlights now when you on phones, things pop up and stuff, but I really try to avoid it as much as I can. I don't think I really sit down and watch the news. I might see clips come here and there. Sometimes if you're standing in the bank and you see like the TV's on and you see these highlights coming up or whatever, but I really make a conscious effort to avoid it. And I got to tell you, it keeps me in a good place. Obviously, major world events, eventually you're going to find out anyhow, but I think constantly focusing on everything that's going wrong in society and watching that on a regular basis, I think it can be very stressful. So you might listen to this and say, hey, I'll take a news fast. I think for the next week I'll avoid it, see how it goes. You might be like, well, I still need to watch my news, Dr. Cindy. So instead of 3-4 hours, maybe cut it down to half an hour. And then maybe say, okay, I'll watch a little bit in the morning, but don't watch it before you go to bed. To see all those things that are upsetting before you go to bed, I think it can really impact your sleep. So I'd say avoid or cut back on the news. Negative people. So there's certain people that you may talk to who upset you, who get you just really irritated. This could be someone maybe at work, it could be friends, it could be a family member, which is really tough. So I think you got to make an effort not to get stressed out, getting upset, consciously deciding that if I get exposed to something, walking away from it, taking a deep breath. Why get your body into sympathetic overdrive? Why have it overstimulated? Your blood pressure goes up, your stomach hurts, your body hurts, your neck hurts, you get a headache or migraine. It's not worth it. So let's make an effort to be around more positive people, avoid those negative people who stress you out. And some people might be like, I live with these people, Dr. Sandy. So I think as much as you can, try to make peace with those people. If you know they get to you, choose a different response. And maybe when you're both in a relaxed state, maybe you guys can talk constructively and say, hey, like, do I do something that may bother you? Because when you do this, it bothers me. Try to talk through it. I'm not saying it's a simple solution. Sometimes it is. Sometimes it can be very complex. But take control of your response. If you're going to get really upset and worked up about something, it can really affect you, cause some very serious damage to the body. So as much as you can in your power, avoid the negative people and give attention to people who lift you up, make you obviously feel better. And I think the big one we also have to be aware of is overworking and overcommitting. This could be just constantly long hours. And I want to talk about stress. Stress is a funny thing. Now, some people hear this word and it could mean that someone who's upset, if someone's worried about something, that's a sign of stress. But some people I've talked to are like, oh, I don't know what stress is. Or some people say, I love stress. I need more stress. I've heard all these kind of interesting statements. And again, for some people, stress might be just that they're busy. So they're not like upset about anything. They're just really busy. Maybe at work, they're just overcommitting. There's a certain time they should log out, but they keep working through the night. Sometimes that's required. There's a big deadline, and I get that. But if you are chronically doing that, and then if you're kind of enjoying it, you're kind of getting a kick out of it or adrenaline rush, I guess I kind of understand, but I think long term, if you are constantly stimulating the body, not taking time to rest, I think that can really hurt the body again. The stress chronically will damage the body. And now, as I get older, a lot of people I admire who are at a very high level, they've done great things with their lives. They look like these people who perform constantly, but when you get closer and you see their lifestyle, you'll see that they go through these periods of time where they work hard, but they make a time to rest because you can't go 100 miles an hour all day. It may seem like that. You need time to rest. You need to eat properly, exercise, and do all these things. So let's be careful with work that we don't overcommit. Of course, sometimes there's a major deadline, and I get that, but we got to be careful that we don't overcommit, that we're always the first one saying, oh, I'll stay late. Give me that extra work. Put it all on me. Be careful. Be very careful, because I think you should look at life like a marathon, not a sprint. Be resourceful with your energy so you can work for the long haul. And even if you retire early, you can enjoy your retirement. You don't want to be retiring early, but you're burnt out, you're sick, you're in pain all the time. There's no enjoying that, obviously. And then even overcommitting can also be in a home front, or maybe you're volunteering and you're helping, and there was a season for that, but that volunteering and that commitment you've made is now just like, it's too much. Like, you're at a different phase of life and you're like, I used to enjoy this. Now I can't rest because I have so many other commitments. So maybe scale back in a different fashion. In your house, always think like a team. Like, if you're doing a lot, say, okay, can we delegate this? Get the kids involved, kind of share those tasks. Kind of divide and conquer. Let's work like a group. There shouldn't be someone who's always doing that. Try to all pitch in, see what you can do. Even if everyone can pitch in a little bit, it makes a huge difference. So I really think if you can focus on avoiding this overstimulation, you will be better for it. You'll give your sympathetic system a chance to relax and kind of raise up that parasympathetic. And as always, from a chiropractic perspective, that in chiropractic, what we focus on is something called the vagus nerve. So this nerve is actually controlling your parasympathetic, that rest and digest. So when you balance this system, which starts at the top and it goes through the body, it affects the brain, it affects breathing, heart rate, digestion, elimination, all the major systems in the body. The more the vagus nerve is in balance, the more the body can rest and repair, going in that parasympathetic state. So there's less pain, better sleep, better focus. Everything just works better when the vagus nerve is healthy. And chiropractic, I'm very happy to say, can help with that, balancing that system, balancing the vagus nerve, just getting things back online, because most of us are just overstimulated. There's just too much. And it wears out the body. And again, you can see this in younger people, middle-aged people, older people. And that's why I've shared this before. I go at least weekly to my chiropractor to get adjusted, not only to feel good, but I want my system to be balanced. I want my nerve system to be healthy. I don't want to be caught in a sympathetic mode. I want more of that parasympathetic. I want everything to be in harmony and balanced as much as possible. And I want to be the best version of myself. I want to be the best chiropractor. I want to be the best husband, the best father, the best friend. And I know that will only happen if I'm healthy, if my nerve system is balanced. I got to practice what I preach. It's great to make all these videos and talk about, hey, chiropractic's great, but I get chiropractic care. I am a patient under care because I want to be the best version of myself. So chiropractic is all about bringing balance to the body, restoring that parasympathetic with the sympathetic. It's about harmony. It's about balance. And I think it's amazing because it's natural. It's drug-free. It's a way to work with the body and just bring it into harmony by working with the most powerful system, not even the organs and muscles, the brain and nerve system, man. That is king. That runs the whole show. And if we can balance that system, beautiful things can happen. You can have a good quality of life and be that amazing spouse, be that amazing parent, be that amazing worker. If you run a business, if you're studying in school, just being the best version of yourself. That's what chiropractic is all about. So please take care of yourself. Find ways to avoid highly stimulating situations. You're amazing. I want you to have a great life, a long life. You're amazing. God bless, God bless, God bless you. Dr. Sandy signing off.